My name is Paul Probst. I'm the inventor of the BlindSight devices for dogs and horses. And this video is about how to change batteries in the BlindSight-S. This is the small BlindSight that came out in May of 2015. This is suitable for dogs from 10 or 11 pounds. Actually, it's a bit below 11, up to around 30 pounds. 30 pounds and more uses the standard BlindSight. This is the BlindSight-S for small dogs. Okay? Now we're going to show you how to change the batteries. Okay, so here's the BlindSight. Well, I advise people to always do this the same way. Either have the rings towards you or away from you, but get used to doing it just one way. Okay, now the first thing we have to do to change the batteries is to remove these 4 screws. Given how compact this thing is and how water resistant we try to make it, nobody made a battery holder that we could use that was waterproof enough, water resistant enough and rugged enough to suit the 10-year life of this thing. This is a 10-year design life for this. So we had to design and build our own. And it's basically held together by the case. So now I've removed the 4 screws. The front is on a pair of wires that goes to the transducer. I'm just going to lay this over here by the rings. And this part right here is where the batteries is. This is your battery stack. Under here, there's a little piece of neoprene, and under here is where your circuitry is. There's a circuit board partially potted in epoxy, and the epoxy on the bottom of it acts as a bottom insulator. There's also this liner the neoprene liner is sort of a tub shape, and it insulates the bottom, prevents shorts, and then on the top it has this other little piece of neoprene. What we're concerned with is the battery holder. The battery holder, the battery's contact is made by the lid here pressing down on this neoprene pad, pressing against the batteries, and that keeps up a good battery contact. We want to change the batteries, so I'm going to take this piece right here and swing it back out of the way, okay? And I'm going to be careful. I'm going to put my hand over this so I don't dump everything out of the case, and I'm just going to dump the batteries out, okay? So now I've got the batteries out. We supply Sony Maxell or Taki batteries. Those are brands we know, with as long a date as we can obtain. And on our website, we'll show you where you can get these very inexpensively. If you get like a 50-pack of these, which you can get frequently for under $20 with shipping and the whole deal, of a name brand like Sony, that's a year's worth of batteries, more than a year's worth of batteries. And compared to buy 4 like this in the store, not 5, which comes in the strip, but 4, if you had to buy like in 2 packs at a retail, even a place like Walmart, those could be anywhere from $4 to $8 just for a pair. So you can see buying the mail order in bulk really pays, and it's really worth it if you're going to be doing this. So now, I'm not going to take these batteries out. The batteries that were in here were perfectly good. We just activated this. So I'm going to put them in as if I'm changing them. You want to look at the battery. The battery has 2 sides. It has a flat side with a lot of printing on it. Has a round side. If you look at that, you can see there's a seam around there. The flat side has a plus mark. We put the plus mark down. So the plus mark is down, the other side's facing up. We drop the battery in there and make sure it doesn't flip over when you put it in. 1, 2, 3, 4 batteries. Okay? There's a notch in the battery holder right here, and that's made to take the wire that this battery contact is attached with. You put the battery contact in place, make sure the wire is in that little notch. Okay? And basically at this point we're ready to put the case together. Now the main thing to do at this point is to watch that we don't cut these wires when we close the case. We use a silicone covered wire, a lot more ecologically friendly than the PVC which is usually used, a lot more flexible too, by the way, but it's not as resistant to being pinched or whatever, so you have to be very careful when we put the case together. We lay this over, and I'm looking here this way and make sure no wires are pinched. The case is overfilled with neoprene, so it's going to try to spring open. You can see that crack. Hold it closed with your hand, put a couple of corner screws in, Okay, like this. 2 opposite corners. That'll kind of hold it in place while you put the other 2 in. Put your other 2 screws in. Now you don't want to over tighten these screws. You can break them off, even though this case is Zamac, it's a type of aluminum alloy, and these are stainless steel screws. You could still break the screws if you really leaned into it. So we're just going to make sure they're all pretty tight. And there's a tip you're going to hear many times. I'm going to say it again here. When you get to this point, if you have a very active dog, you might think about putting a narrow little strip of Gorilla Tape over here. In some of the stuff on our website, some of the pictures, you'll see it looks like a black stripe on some of the BlindSight units. That is Gorilla Tape, and that's to keep the screws from backing out. I would advise its use, although we haven't had a big problem with screws backing out, and there is spares in the spare parts kit. Okay, now we're ready to go. Let me pick it up and check it. Yep, it's running. So we did a good job of changing the batteries, and that is all there is to changing the batteries. Now, it's get it on the leash, get it around the dog's neck, and one caution again, whatever leash hangs this unit on the dog, do not attach a leash to it. The leashes that we occasionally provide have had the rings cut off them to make sure that they're never going to be used for attaching a leash. Anyway, thank you very much for your time, and that's what there is to changing the batteries in the BlindSight-S.